Wait. Oh my gosh. How do I... Is that how I do it? Is it still recording? How do you know? Oh, it is. Okay. So we'll just cut that off, I guess. Okay. Sorry, this is my first time doing this. Not really sure how it's supposed to work. Okay. Okay. Is it gonna go? There we go. Okay. So, my name is Sarah Kraut, and I will be talking about spaces and how they define us. So, there are possible ways that space can be used in a literary setting or in an actual real life setting. I have a couple themes that I wanted to talk about, and first was space as a place to find mental relaxation. So, an author who really likes to talk about the space, and especially about like space within oneself, the idea that you can find oneself in others and in the space around you. And then also, Emily Dickinson offers a peace of mind for life after living on this earth, basically life after death. So the Song of Myself, written by Walt Whitman, he really talks about where he is physically, and he talks about how he just wants to relax and like seek his inner self and find truth within other people. And so he said, as a quote from the poem, he says, "Loaf with me on the grass, loose the stop from your throat, not words, not music or rhyme, I want, not custom or lecture, not even the best. Only the lull I like, the hum of your velvet voice." Walt likes to find inner peace in this type of space that he puts himself in. He wants to really just come outside of himself and feel connected to everything, feel connected to nature, and feel connected to other people. He also finds this transcendentalism in the space that he brings himself. So he as well as being to look in himself, he's also able to find mental awareness. And really, I think that helps with mental health as well. It can bring in points where people who suffer from anxiety are able to find this peace in their mind by, especially, I think Whitman, what he's talking about in his poem is really just kind of meditating. And a lot of people who suffer from anxiety find peace and relaxation in meditating. Being able to find the truth within yourself as well as in others, and he really loves to feel this connection to the earth, the environment, and especially the people around him. So Walt and Dickinson aren't the only ones who also talk about this being able to find space. What Dickinson was really meaning with her being able to have peace knowing that there is a place for us after death. I think she's meaning heaven, but she's also trying to comfort people and saying them that Earth is not the only space we're in. It's not the only place we're gonna be, especially if you believe in Jesus. And then also, someone else who I believe not only like the space around them really helped set the tone for how the people were feeling. And I think that Lorraine Hansberry, in her book A Raisin in the Sun, or I guess the play A Raisin in the Sun she wrote, she says, "Weariness has in fact won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room." She equates the amount of living and the amount of time and life spent in this room is just so, there's like too much of it that the atmosphere of the room has changed from one with hope and wonder about what this family can do for itself in the future to we have been stuck in this place too long and we want something better. And I really think that has to do with the space that the person is in. So whereas Walt found that the space he was in helped him free his mind, Hansberry in this A Raisin in the Sun play says that the atmosphere of the place that this family was in, i.e. their apartment, was just way too long. Like, it had just been too overused, and it changed the entire atmosphere of their home. So not only can space be a part of your mental awareness or have part in your mental health, we see space as a person in some literature. So in the story O Pioneers, we see the character Andrea has a real view on the lands that she lives. She loves it. She's from Nebraska, and they live in the country. And this was, in the story, it says over 30 years ago from when it was written. And so basically, we can just assume that it was, probably early 1900s, late 1800s. And we know that the land is personified so much in this story that they're really giving this land, this weather, the hills, everything about their home, making it its own character. And especially the first line of the story says, "One January day, 30 years ago, the little town of Hanover, anchored on a windy Nebraska tableland, was trying not to be blown away. A mist of fine snowflakes was curling and eddying about the cluster of low, drab buildings huddled on the gray prairie under a gray sun." So basically, this land is so hard to farm, it's so rough, but yet they love it, and they see it as something or someone they love dearly. And then finally, my space as a home, and especially in Phyllis Wheatley's To the Right and Honorable William, Earl of Dartmouth. She is an African American who had migrated to the U.S., whether that was probably not by choice. She is grateful to where she is now. She thinks it's healthier, and she thinks it's, a safer place for her to live, and she's thankful. But whereas Count T. Cullen, in his writing Heritage, he finds it very hard to think of his home, Africa, and not be saddened because his new home is America. He says in this, "What is Africa to me? Copper sun or scarlet sea? Jungle star or jungle track? Strong bronzed men or regal black? Women from whose loins I sprang when the birds of Eden sang? One 3 centuries removed from the scenes his father loved, spicy grove, cinnamon tree, what is Africa to me?" And I think it's really hard for Count T. Cullen to be able to think about his real home, his real country from where he's from, without feeling sorrow and sadness. It's something that is good but also sad at the same time. He struggles with this inner monologue about what he thinks is home. And so for a lot of people, I feel that they think the same way whenever they migrate to a new home. And whatever space they're in can be easy or difficult, or it can be fun and they can learn really easily, or they can struggle at learning. Oftentimes, parents of children who have migrated to the U.S. struggle with even just communicating with people who speak English. Maybe they grew up in Japan and they can only speak Japanese. But when they come to the US, the children have to learn English and Japanese to help them be able to communicate with the people around them. This is where we see space as a home and how it can be beneficial or maybe even detrimental to people. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you, and thank you, thank you, Dr. McCulley. I don't know what to say. Okay, the end. Oh no, this is not the end. I have to stop recording.